have to come up 3 flights of stairs because I've done it by mistake. Just great guys. So, okay, we're all a little bit tonight. I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna tell it to the heat because I'm so hot with it. So Margaret's gonna come up and she's gonna talk to us about some happenings in the library, and there's some packets back there that have the information. If you want one of those, I'd like to hand them out. We can find some of it.
I'm Margaret Slane. I work at the library. I just wanted to give everybody some updates about some events that are coming up here in the Central Library. And like I said, she was so sweet to staple together some flyers about all our events, and they're available on the back table. First of all, I just wanted to remind everyone that our summer reading program is coming to a close at the end of this month, which means that our free summer enrichment classes will end on July 27th. So we have 2 more weeks remaining for those classes, and they're time for second and third graders, and they're completely free. We have some early August event on Thursday, August 3rd. The author of a new book called Times Undoing. Her name is Cheryl Head. She'll be here to discuss her book, which is a semi-historical novel set in Buckingham. On August 4th, for our famous Bards and Brews, event will take place. It will be an open mic night, and will also be celebrating International Beer Day. For Bards and Brews, that beer will be served at the event. And then on Saturday, August 5th, we have a new club called the Pen and Paper Role Playing Game Club. And they're gonna host their second game session. It's the first Saturday of every month, and it's from 12 to 3 at the Central Library, and they'll play games like Dungeons and Dragons, in small groups, and it's open to all ages. And I think that's about it. Also, I have a sign-up sheet if anyone is interested in receiving emails, or receiving email invitations to our big events, like our fundraising events. I'll leave that on the back table, and you're welcome to sign up. Any questions? Thank you. I don't see anyone from the public works. Transportation, no, fire department, no, maybe precinct marshal, I don't know. Okay, so we have Mr. Andre Davis is going to speak with us. He's the executive director and CEO of Birmingham Parking Authority. I know that there's been questions some of y'all had about some of the late night gatherings and parking debt, parking lots and that kind of thing. So feel free to ask questions. Cindy's going to tell us about the changes that are going on should be made to the library.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can I only ask that we speak loud? We should get her notes in the recording.
No problem, no problem. Thank you all for having me. I always enjoy these opportunities to get out and share our message with the community. As she stated, my name is Andre Davis. I serve as the executive director and CEO of the Birmingham Parking Authority. First and foremost, these are some very exciting times for the Birmingham Parking Authority. I've been in this role now about a year and 4 months, and one thing I quickly learned when I took over this position was there were a lot of challenges that we needed to overcome. And in my many years of been working in parking and coming to the Parking Authority, I see these challenges as opportunities. They're not insurmountable challenges, they're things that we cannot overcome. One of the things that I'm most excited about right now is in April of this year, we launched a first time ever comprehensive parking study. The BPA had never done a comprehensive parking strategic planning project. And one thing that I quickly learned, what I learned was in my many years of leadership is, a goal without a plan is nothing but a wish. I am committed to making sure that the Parking Authority is a valuable asset to the Birmingham community. This study is centered around 3 goals. The 3 goals of this project are: number 1, to support the economic development, not only in the central business district and downtown Birmingham, but in this region as a whole. Secondly, we want to improve the customer experience. We recognize the customer experience has not always been as pleasant as it should have been when dealing with the Birmingham Park Authority. And lastly, we want to find ways to leverage technology to make us a more efficient and effective organization. But everything we do with regard to our strategic plan is centered around those three objectives. When we launched this study, we sought input from the community. You may have seen some news stories recently run. It actually ended this past Friday night at midnight. Well, we sought input from the community by submitting surveys because we wanted the community to be confident that the plan that we're creating is not something we're just creating. We're just going to put out there. We want the community to follow it. We want community's input throughout every step of this plan. And like some of you may have heard from previous plans, one thing we're going to do differently is we are not waiting until the very end of the study before we start to change. We recognize this is a 6 to 8 month project, but we're not going to wait 6 to 8 months before we start doing things. We've already identified some things. I've been meeting for weeks, if not months, with different vendors and services on ways we can improve our service to the community. I understand there have been some concerns in the past in the business community about BPA not being a good partner. But rest assured, since I've been at the BPA, I've never said no. I've never said no to one request since I've been at the Birmingham Park Authority. Now, that doesn't mean I give everyone exactly what they want, but as a way of saying no, I might not be able to give you exactly what you want, but let's work on a solution together that we both can walk away and feel like we both have been reasonably treated. Okay. I think there are some, and I'll take a few questions if you all have any. I will say to you, on the Morris Avenue lot, which is why I think I was going to talk about that one specifically. That particular lot is probably one of my high priorities. That is an invaluable asset to the Birmingham Park Authority, but it is an asset that I recognize has not been invested in properly over the years. We're going to be working with Auburn University Urban Studios this upcoming fall in crafting designs and concepts of how we can improve that parking lot. I've had many meetings with different law firms, businesses, restaurants along Morris Avenue about ways that we can help them improve access to that lot and parking. We have added security to those lots on weekends. I don't know how many of you have noticed, but on Friday and Saturday night, we have off-duty sheriff deputies in that lot, make sure that the lots are kept safe. They should be there with the blue lights on each night on Friday and Saturday. But again, we want to make sure that we have a safety, but safety is our number one concern with our community. So anything that we do in not only in Morris Avenue lot, but in all of our facilities, we want them to be centered around safety. I know there have been some concerns in the past with wait lists. I just spoke with my team today to ensure, as of today, with the exception of only one parking deck, we don't have any wait list in front of that parking. I know some of you may have heard in the past that I'm number 10, 20, 50 on the list, but that shouldn't be the case anymore. We have capacity in all of our lots, with the exception of the deck 5, that we can put people in at this time. Okay. And those are the things that we've been working on since I've been at the Park Authority. I'm so excited about the new products that are coming to our area. I'm happy to see Ms. Angela here with us today. We're working with her on her new project. And I think Ms. Angela can attest to when we started working together, there was not a sense of we can't do it, but what can we do to make this work? It is so easy for me. My day is so much easier when I make things happen. I know that we're doing things great when our phone is not ringing. If our phone is ringing, that means we're not doing something right. So when our phone is not ringing, that's a good day for us. So that being said, I'll open the floor for any questions you may have. Nothing's off limits. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I actually live on First Avenue, 23rd.
Yes, ma'am.
You're right there, the last 2 weekends. Sheriff's vehicle there with a blue light on. Do you know if there's actually a person in here?
Oh, absolutely. They better be in town for it.
You want her to check the board? Can you check that out this weekend?
Yeah, there was, you could tell people studied that.
Yeah.
This past weekend, this cruise right on the center.
Mhm.
So that's one of their favorite places to drive their car and then zoom
Exactly.
and do, donut, whatever. And I signed up to help with I don't know what it's called, about keeping your
The block.
block.
Mhm.
So, a couple of weeks ago, there was two cars that were parked there. I'm sure people who have gone to the club, whose side windows were broken out and everything. And you're right, that parking lot is just sitting there available for people to park, but they're rather parked on the street because it costs a couple of bucks. But if there's actually someone in the car,
Yes,
then that should help.
yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I think that's,
Understand, if we park here, our car's not gonna get broken into.
Yes. Absolutely, there is someone in the car.
Okay.
Now, we don't patrol the street,
Right.
We're
Just
only
like
inside
we talked
the
about in that
in the
parking lot.
parking lot.
Because if there's not anybody in there, then they're gonna quickly learn that it's the parking.
So there's someone, there is someone in the lot, in the car.
But
And when I spoke, I've been out there too, not as late as 3 o'clock in the morning, I've been out there late at night. Starting this weekend, we will have a second car there between the hours of 2 and 3.
yeah,
We have
but
some-
they closed the club, I think they do, because they moved to the back
Mhm.
where my lot is.
We have
And they
patrol
spend
there.
about an hour or so back there.
Yeah, we have, our guys are there from 9 PM
Yeah.
until 3 AM. And then you will see two there between the hours of 2. Yeah,
Can there be better signage to let them know that there is parking there? Because like last weekend, I don't know, it was Friday or Saturday night, I live on Second Avenue. I'm 23rd and Second. So where Baldones is, they're on the corner of, okay. People just, I mean, they just park. Like they were parked in the handicap ramp, on the sidewalk there. And so, but there's no signage letting people know that there's parking down there.
that's one of the things that, as when we launched our parking strategic plan project back in April, we held stakeholder meetings. And in every stakeholder meeting we held, someone brought up wayfinding signage and poor signage. So earlier when I stated there are some things that we're going to be working on before the plan comes out. What wayfinding signage is one of those things. We are working with a public relations firm to help us create, not only a new BPA logo, but help us create, better signage that we can use universally around the community.
How much does it cost for them to park there?
For monthly or like
Like-
transient?
Like a night.
For the night. So I think that lot is $2 for the first hour, $1 each additional hour.
So could it be cheaper? I'm just saying, because I think people find their own parking because they don't want to pay parking too.
Well, I don't know if it can be cheaper. It's actually pretty cheap right now. Yeah, it's actually, it's actually pretty cheap right now.
People are cheap, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they'll block everything in the world. huh?
Yeah, I mean, they're parking.
It's cheaper than replacing your windshield.
Well,
Any other questions?
I'm sorry, thank you. I'm excited about that.
The city has to cover.
Awesome, Claire, and I appreciate all the changes. When I spoke to your assistant, one of the things we were talking about, the car tow and all that, we had quite a good conversation. Is that one of the things people come, like, we live downtown, so we know where to park, we got parking in our houses. all that. But I think part of the problem is when people come downtown, they don't understand the concept across from Helen's, next City Federal. That's a great parking deck at night. And they'll drive around and then they'll end up getting their cars towed or whatever. Is there a way, is the city thought about like bright signs, like you can park here for $5 or whatever it costs?
Well, the city is working on new ordinances to control the predatory towing. However, as I mentioned earlier, we are working on a wayfinding package that will help people identify our parking assets. We want to campaign and push people to parking assets that are controlled and managed by the city of Birmingham. And that's going to be part of a much bigger advertising effort as opposed to just simply word of mouth. So we are working on that as part of our overall plan development. Because a lot of people don't know where we are, but I'm not going to sit here and try to mislead, because there are a number of things too that we have done incorrectly over the years in DPA. There is inconsistent signage even in parking decks that we manage. So that's another thing that I'm really adamant about. We need to be consistent even in the messaging that we are displaying to our community, so that people can easily identify that's a parking authority asset. That's a street meter that This is the process I'm supposed to follow to pay for my parking. So those are the type of things that we're gonna be working on over the next few months.
Just real quickly, I won't say more after this, but the meters, a lot of people don't know that you don't have to pay after 5 or that you don't have to pay on Saturdays and Sundays. And
Technically, that's not true.
well, I know, that is forced to do it. Yeah, right. Unless you have someone out of force to get it through.
That's true.
But,
But the street meter, that's not under my authority.
oh.
We
okay.
only handle the off-street, the
Oh,
parking
okay,
gates.
okay, okay. I'll take that up with somebody else.
Next meeting, they're coming about.
I just want to comment, Andre, to your point earlier, been great to work with, appreciate you being here, appreciate the leadership. And just acknowledging the issue that exists and lots of thought, obviously, going into. How do you get it? So appreciate that.
Yes, I appreciate you coming. If you can do anything, let us know.
And although my name is spelled incorrectly, that is my correct email address. So if you all have,
Cut and paste it that, you might want to go to the website.
so if you have any
Sorry.
questions, concerns, please email me. I do respond to my email. I try to respond within 24 hours.
We just
Okay.
did that. See you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, actually, that's my incorrect email. I just noticed that. It's actually AR@BHAM, or BHAM.
You see what that's.
That's what it's better. It says BHM.
It should be
Said it's
BHAM. It should be
BHAM.
BHAM.
This is BHAM on
Yeah, I wonder why I had that check.
Thank you.
Oh, it's right on the handout.
Oh, it's right there.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
gonna say I couldn't taste it. It's blue. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, all right, so, we got officers here. Let you be next, in case you need to run out or something.
Chase man.
I don't use microphones unless you do, you
Do
know,
it now?
I said I don't need a microphone unless y'all just gonna make me use it.
Yeah, she wants to get hear you.
So it picks up on the recording.
Sorry, Lucas. I'm sorry, Lucas, I'm one of the night shift supervisors. I've seen something down before. Me and Tom have known each other for nearly as I do. Like I said, I'm one of the night shift sergeants from the precinct. I come to these meetings with an open mind and just basically, y'all tell me what you need. I can tell you, I can answer the questions to the best of my ability. I'm sure you'll have a sergeant or an officer to be on every month. So every meeting is different, every neighborhood is different. I can go to some neighborhoods and all they want to hear is who I am and tell me to get on about my day, and then some have questions for 30, 45 minutes. So y'all control this for me. Y'all tell me what you need and questions that you may have. Or I'm gonna update you, whatever you'd like for me to do.
How is the car break-ins going? Is it still, I know that there was some arrests made. Is that improving or?
So I can speak from my shift because, like I said, we are on rotating schedules. For our previous weekend shift, so my shift will work today and tomorrow, or work yesterday and today. And then we won't be back until Friday. We'll work Friday, Saturday and Sunday nights. Our previous weekend that we worked, we did start out Friday night with a couple of vehicle break-ins on Friday night. And then we think that we located the individual who was doing it because we did make an arrest. And then all of a sudden, Saturday and Sunday, we didn't have any car break-ins, so like to kind of put 2 and 2 together on that one. It has seemed to kind of die down, especially around the club areas of First Avenue, Morris Avenue. But what we tend to try to do is, I'm sure if you've lived in this area long enough, you know that predominantly downtown is split into 2 beats. You have 121 that has everything from about 18th, 19th Street to Caraway, and then you have 22 that has everything from 18th, 19th Street back to 65. What we've had those 2 officers do is answer their respective calls on in their beat, but then they team up. If they're not on a call, they just ride each other's beat. So it makes individuals who are out to do no good think that there's more officers than there may really be. We also have a task force, which is specialized, or not specialized officers, but they don't answer calls. All they do is ride around and try to prevent crime more so than your normal patrolman. And then we also have 1 officer assigned to my shift that he is his own little task force. And so when we have hotspot areas, we'll send him over there as kind of a second car to ride in the neighborhood. So on the weekends, he tends to flex between downtown and then just across the interstate over near the 5 and 9 on the Chevron and over there. So anywhere on at least on our shift, in the way that the other two sergeants and I like to manage it. You'll have anywhere between 3 to 4 cars riding down here. And then I, as a supervisor, I'll be down here a majority of the shift. I like downtown. Personally, I'm not just saying it because y'all live in the neighborhood. I'm thinking good tonight. I worked in West Precinct for over 8 years, so downtown is kind of a different atmosphere for me. So I like to be down here, but then I also am responsible for the rest of the entire precinct. So I'm not always down here. I like to beat officers. But most of the time you will see one of our chargers, which is one of the supervisors riding downtown the rest of the night.
Well, we appreciate it so much.
When y'all do catch the guys, when you, like the one you caught for the break-ins, how long do they keep them in jail?
I can't,
No time?
I can't answer that. And it's not because I don't want to, it's because I just don't have your answer and I'm not gonna just make up something for you. I can tell you a timeline for a felony arrest is anywhere between 24 to 48 hours. And then from there, it's however long they can bond out of the county jail. So I'll just give you an example. If we arrest somebody at 9 o'clock on Friday night, they can be interviewed anywhere between 10 and 1 o'clock in the morning, 10 PM to 1 o'clock in the morning by the detective. They could be sitting in the Birmingham City Jail anywhere between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. That detective will then go screen the warrant when the county opens up for the magistrate on Saturday morning. And then they'll be transferred to the county jail. Now it's on them to determine when they can bond out, but usually on a property crime, they can bond out as soon as they get to downtown county jail, as long as they have the ability to. So depending on the person, they can be in and out, or they can sit there all weekend. It just really depends. But usually, and I will say this one, the people that we're catching, they get caught and then they try to hide out for a little while. They'll perk back up every now and then, but they at least try to hide the ground because they don't want to spend another couple $100 to get out of jail again, 3 or 4 days later. But for the most part, we'll put them in and they'll sit them down. And it's, listen, I'm off tomorrow and Thursday. I'm completely.
Thank you. And, one, another, I'm just going about all the phone calls I've received, is the one, and I'll just point it out in front of the Vault nightclub, that the lane that runs, Third Avenue North, 2 lanes, they completely block off the lane between 19th and 20th, okay, they park their cars like that's their private parking lot. So that, and then another place that I've gotten called on is 24th, is it First and 20? Yeah, in front of the Odom, Dr. Odom, the dental, they do that too. What can we do? I mean, we call and, I know that that's a low priority. We're not asking it to be a top. But you also see I don't understand why in somebody's mind, it's all right for me to just illegally park here. And traffic is stopping. You've got 18-wheelers barreling down through there in the middle of the night. I don't understand.
So what we try to do, if we see it, which again, we can't be everywhere at the exact same time, but if we see it, we have our officers address it. For the most part, when you're speaking about the 3rd Avenue, what's that, the 1900 block of 3rd,
Mhm.
when you're talking about that area, we know exactly where everybody is. They're inside the hall. Okay, there's nothing else open in that block. There's nothing else open I don't even think Paramount's open that late at night. But we'll make contact with the door security. Hey, get these people to clear their cars out. We'll give them a warning. We at least try to be courteous. Nobody likes a parking ticket. We don't like parking tickets. We know civilians don't like parking tickets. We give them the warning. We put our officer back on patrol. Within a timely manner, if he or she comes back around and those same cars or more cars are still there, then we start issuing parking citations all the way up to the point of we'll call Will Recker out and have them tow cars. Technically, that's abandoned in the roadway. We can tow your vehicle for that. We do it all the time over near the club district over on the west side of 65. We do it all the time over here. We did it on First Avenue a couple weekends ago. We did it down at Chasers. I believe it was Wednesday night. We had to tow a bunch of cars because they were blocking 24th Street. But what it comes down to is we at least try to get the warning. And then we take an action. Because again, some people may not be from around here. Some people may just think they can get away with this. All it really takes is a stern, hey, move your car. So again, warning, action, and then we just handle it from there. But as for the ones on First, we do have an off-duty officer that works, or multiple off-duty officers that work Casanova and Crew. And we try to get them to assist us because they're there longer than we are. We try to get them to make the announcement saying, get your cars moved or else they're gonna tow them. And we use that as the warning. So you've been warned, we ticket your car, we tow you the ball.
That's good to know. So if somebody calls, like in your neighborhood, you call and you say, hey, there's all these, so actually you can just radio that guy. You can just reach out to the.
Yeah, if it comes out-
Because sometimes I know people say, I called and nobody ever comes. This may be one of the reasons they don't come is because they're communicating.
Right, so sometimes we do. I know I can speak from personal experience. When I used to work the Lakeview bars, we had the same incident around 7th Avenue South and 29th Street South. To take the workload off the patrol officers, they would call, when I was working in this for years ago. They'd call me or text me on the phone, hey, we're getting complaints, can you please handle this for us? I'd walk outside to the door guy, tell them to move their cars. Okay, 15-20 minutes later, I'd walk back out, those cars are still there, tell them to move their cars, or else they're gonna come tow them. 10 minutes, they're not moved, I called the precinct, hey, I gave them 2 options, they didn't wanna do it, come get them. So, try to be fair,
Good
and
to
then
know.
if you don't wanna take the warning, and sometimes we have to do our job. Just like,
Anybody else have any questions?
yeah.
No.
All right, love you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Y'all go.
Okay, let's see. That's some good information. Wait, you want to come on? Yes, you raise your hand.
Oh, wait, but
If you let me talk. Like it's gonna update us on what's happening. with the city then. Thank you.
Yeah. Good to see everybody again. I meant to tell Andre yesterday I was actually on be a part of one of those case or one of the focus groups, and he really listens to everything we were saying, a lot of stuff that we're talking about signage wise, wayfinding,
Yeah.
everything we brought up. They were taking down great notes, so everything, I'm excited for him to be on here. He's a great UAB, and excited, wish he was here for me to get him voting, but and I'm excited what they're gonna do for the lots, especially because there's some hidden gems for us. I always want to park in lots, and I always tell my friends to do it because they didn't know how to work to park in it.
I do too.
Okay, so a couple things I have for downtown, which probably maybe affects a handful of y'all, but for 20th Street. I feel like this is the longest running thing ever, but we finally have got our new RFP and a new contractor. So if you've noticed, we have some new flowers in the pots downtown along 20th Street. And the ones that haven't been dried by the sun, they're still doing well. And so they're coming in and we're doing some watering and stuff there while we're working on some irrigation repairs. So if you see some work on the sidewalk area, we're trying to redo the irrigation for 20th Street. So all of the effort we're putting into the plants down there is not for nothing. So you'll see that should be finished up hopefully tomorrow. And then with that happening, we will then start bringing in new plants along 20th Street. So in the medians and the sidewalks, we learned, I think the first time, although I wasn't here, I've learned since I've been here, some of the plants weren't the best fit for us down there, particularly all the COs that you probably see down there. They tend to seed and become everywhere. So every little green piece of grass that looks like it's growing up is a mini CO. So we're trying to pull all those up and then bring in probably some more of the pretty flowers to have along there, but evergreen. So you'll see those coming through. And then that new RFP or the new contractor will start in the next couple of weeks once we get something approved to see. And then something fun we're doing, if you've noticed it over the weekend, on the Wednesdays, if you happen to walk around downtown, we're doing something called Live on 20th, which is over lunchtime. So if you've noticed it at all, from 11 to 1. So trying to get the foot traffic from a lot of our, workers downtown who are walking to Brickington or Paramount or Zaza. And so we've had some musical acts out there. I think tomorrow will be another one. We're gonna have a break dancer out there, just kind of something fun to be surprising for folks when they're walking around, kind of add a little atmosphere to downtown. So we'll run that every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. through August 3rd. That's our summer series, we're calling it. So we've had 3 so far. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so we're outside the Copper Firm. So right there in the corner of 20th and 3rd. Right there. 20th and 4th, sorry. So right in front of the Cotton Burn, we know that's kind of a good area. It's far enough away, especially for sound for any of the restaurants, anyone who wants to sit outside. But right there in the middle of the walking path. So they did it last year during the evening hours from 4 to 6 on Friday. Elvis, yeah, so we're trying to do a little study right now and see more foot traffic from 11 to 1. And then utilize those and probably do it multiple times in the fall and especially with the holidays. We're trying to add some fun atmosphere outside. So if you're walking around downtown tomorrow, come out there from 11 to 1 and sit with us and we'll watch break dance for a little bit. We're working on, again, with some fun stuff for holiday. We are working on that right now, a lot of stuff in work, like kind of the plans that are happening, if we can get a couple things figured out with power wise. But you'll get some more updates on that as we're coming through. But we want to make sure downtown, especially this year, kind of moving forward, downtown is a really good holiday experience. Nothing that wouldn't, we want something to add to what's already downtown. To bring people down there, but also with some lights and some fun events for that. So I will keep everyone posted on it. And then lastly, something we just came up with and we will start working on. Y'all will be the first ones to hear about it, because I'll be sitting with Donna. But we want to start working on a big citywide kind of downtown survey. We want to know a little bit about what's going on down here. Loves, dislikes, things we should work on. And those are things we can utilize moving forward. So kind of starting the process on that right now. So don't expect anything in the next week or two, but kind of doing some studies with some other cities and seeing what they're asking. Do you own a dog? You know, do you walk or do you drive? And so a lot of stuff that we can utilize to kind of make some better decisions moving forward downtown. So that's something that I have luckily taken on it. So we'll see how that works here in the next couple of weeks and seeing what's going on. Any questions that y'all have? I know there's kind of high level updates, but flowers is what all I've cared about the last couple of weeks. So having that is the most exciting update I'll have for a while.
Well, just from the standpoint of Councilor Quinn's office, we would love to talk with you about that survey. We're developing a district-wide survey that our part-time staffer, he just went to start a new position in Nashville with a fellowship, but he started this process of developing a district-wide survey. But we would love, neighborhood specific information. I would love to connect with you because I'm a counselor. He's a data junkie by trade, and so this to be a part of that will be great.
Love to have you, but I love working on that one. Just see kind of what that is going to work out. So I'll be in touch. You guys.
I have a question. Those big cement planters that's on the corner of 3rd and 20th.
Mhm.
Like I planted flowers in it last year and they're gone. I don't know what happened to them. How could we? And then Dawn and I, neighbors, went out there and pressure washed them.
Contractor.
The contractor.
The plants that we planted. They were removed. So now there's nothing.
Now there's nothing.
Why?
There'll be some there now.
No, this is there's one where Chocolat used to be, there's one there, and then there's one on the corner of 20. And it's like just an eyesore. I mean, they need to.
So you're talking about concrete planters that are into the
I've been there
sidewalks.
about 110.
Those are outside.
Those ugly ones.
Yes, the ones that just become park benches.
Why
for
can't
some
they
folks.
somebody just tear
That's
them
city.
down? Like, they need to be like.
That's not public works.
Just, I planted, I planted,
Mhm.
and then your people removed.
And we pressure washed and did all that. We tried to clean that personally. Yeah,
Why can't those planters just be removed? No, they're so ugly.
I guess we can ask, who do we ask?
I agree, totally.
Just move back this.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody ran into it.
Maybe acting like bollards though.
There's only two of them. One's at 1929 third, and one's at 18, whatever, second.
It's a good question. Yeah, that's something I'm gonna be sitting with those. Yeah, I agree. And now we're gonna get graffiti and stuff on there.
Yeah.
We're always not like kind of removing graffiti and stuff.
Yeah,
But those are right off of 20th Street, so those, we don't have the control of the contract that we work with the city, it's public private, but we certainly have to see so.
So I know on 20 First Avenue, which is not 20th where everything's done.
Right.
But beside our building, when I signed up, that house in the block, there's between the sidewalk and the street is a huge area of grass weeds. And I've been trying I tried just like a regular push mower, it was not working. I tried my little weed eater, it only done about half of it. So, you know, it's an eyesore and it grows up really high and people let their dogs back. So is there anything that the city can help me do to make it where I can manage it? Because I said I would help, but it's not managed.
That could be something that I can ask someone with the city, so I'm not affiliated with them, and that is right outside. We go back to that discussion, it's right outside of the bid, so anything I would be able to dispose cap and tell them to go help out with that, being on 23rd side, but that could be with.
And I knew you were outside, but is there somebody I could talk to or you could connect me with?
Let me get, if you're gonna stick around, I'll get your email address afterwards, and let me see if I know who to connect with in the city, and then I'll help facilitate that.
Well, I got somebody to help me, we needed,
You want that, you would schedule or consistent
I mean,
maintenance.
I would, just something that I could do.
Evan, have you turned it into 311?
Well, they cut it once for me when I first signed
So you
up.
have to ask.
And I said I would try to do it, but it's too much, the weeds are really big. and huge.
Area that she's talking about is at least 6 feet wide.
And it's the whole lot.
It's the whole block.
Almost, it's the open street.
And it's the responsibility of the property owner to maintain.
Oh, is it? Oh, they do, they keep things in and,
Grass in front of your house, new grass.
well, they did the back lot, but they didn't do that. So I'll.
It's very Joe.
Thank you.
Yes.
I got it.
Okay, that's what I let Don.
Are you speaking tonight? I know last time you had to leave, because, we went over for so long. I couldn't hear you. I said, I know last time you ran out of here because we were too long-winded.
Good evening. I'm Velma Williams and I'm the crime prevention officer for the North Precinct Birmingham Police Department. And actually, I have 3 meetings every Monday night that your meeting is, and they're all at 6 o'clock, okay? So I tried to make all 3. So I came in earlier, I left some information, I went to a meeting, I got on Zoom, and then I circled back around. So if I come to a meeting first, and I don't get called up, then I have to go ahead and make my other meeting. So I wasn't trying to slight you last night.
No,
I just had other neighborhoods who need me. Okay, so today I'm going to share with you that on August the 2nd, which is the first Tuesday in August, we will have our National Night Out. And you may have already seen this flyer. It should have been posted on Nextdoor by now, okay? And I sent it out to all the neighborhood presidents, so hopefully they send it out to you as well. And what happens on National Night Out is that neighborhoods show their support and collaboration with the police department by decorating or having a festival or whatever. And it's up to you what you want to do if you choose to do something. You can do it individually and decorate your home. Last year, we had a lady who actually built a jail cell in her front yard out of those floating noodles that you get from the Dollar Tree. It was so cute. And then she had police cars running up the rail of her house, and she had little lights everywhere, and she was giving away candy like it was Halloween, okay? So other neighborhoods come together and collectively do something, so you have all these hip places downtown that you may want to congregate and have some blue lights out. All I ask is that you let me know, my number's on the flyer, there are flyers in the back, so that we can come around and see your creativity, and we'll have a little friendly competition going on, okay? The second thing I want to share with you is about elder abuse. 1 in 4 Americans have reached the age of being considered elderly. And you don't have to admit to it, but.
You're in the right group.
But if y'all, all you have to do is keep living, okay? My mama said, keep going to bed and keep getting up, okay? So what I want you to be aware of is that 1 in 10 of those seniors are being abused in some way, some shape, some form. That can be physical abuse, emotional abuse, it can be physical, where they're literally hurting you. It can also be in scamming you. So please be aware and be aware for those that you may know and that you may have authority over when they're answering the phone, to be careful of the information that they give, to make sure that if they have internet access, that they know not to give people their personal information, that they know not to electronically sign anything. And these scams where, you just received or your order is pending, but you didn't order anything. Make sure they understand not to use that. And if they've gotten to that stage in life where you're concerned about their ability to think cognitively, it may be time to disconnect them from the internet, okay? Because you would rather them not communicate over the internet than to be taken advantage of. And also, there are people out there who just want to know that you are home and that you are home alone. Okay, and you can fill in the blanks for yourself. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All right. I have a flyer that I'm gonna leave with you with more information about elder care. And know that it's not just those who get paid.
I know you've been doing this for a minute. Don, and you've been downtown longer than I have, do we ever do anything down in Central City, down in our areas for the police, for the
National Night Out. Hired in March of 2020, what does that say? The middle of COVID-19, right? So very few communities were doing things, all right? Last year, people started to come out and started to re-engage. I don't know, but the president who was here prior to the two presidents ago, James, used to encourage people to do it, but you could take the ball and run with it, okay?
All right, now get
All
my
right.
police uniform. Okay.
That'll work, as long as you don't put a badge on. That'll get you put in jail.
Don't abuse the
Don, it's fine.
No, you never get away with that.
All right, Mr. Williams.
We can, it's too rocky. Interviews rocky now.
Mr. Williams, I've got, he wants to talk to us about possibility of some signs. I've explained here. For a former band. Yes. I'm gonna let you. I haven't met you, but I'm going.
Good evening, everyone. Off stage talking about mowing gun for about 2 decades. I haven't been done. I actually served as neighborhood officers, community reps. Looked like years ago, but then again, it looked like just yesterday. Here we are. Nonetheless, good evening, everyone. I'm Charlie Olin Jr. I live right over on Druid Hill, have served as the neighborhood president, have community rep. So I have some connection here. I am here before you this evening to talk about my time as a Phillips High School marching Red Raider and on this Phillips High School. Back in 1976, again, prior to me, a man by the name of John H. McAfee became the band director. The first band director of color to lead the band members over to educate them over at Phillips High School. And under his stewardship, he's getting 45 years of his life, actually 46, but nonetheless, to music in the city of Birmingham. We actually served as ambassadors for the city of Birmingham as band members and the band director for many years prior to him being promoted going across the street to the Board of Education over the music department. One of my experiences, well, two of the experiences I speak of, we marched twice for the former Birmingham Stallions over at the The other experience that I had was when Central City was being refurbished, the Metropolitan Garden. The Secretary of HUD asked us to come over our band to represent the city of Birmingham and to play for the city of Birmingham. Mr. McAfee, John H. McAfee, through his years at Phillips High School required one thing: get your lesson. all members of those high school bands, those were individuals at graduation, they had all the roles. We had more academic achievers than any other auxiliary in the high school. The leaders were coming out of the band. He made sure you understand, I don't teach band, I teach social skills, so when you leave here, you will be able to talk to any and everyone on any level. So what we're asking is, down 24th Street from Abraham Woods, formerly 8th Avenue, down to 6th Avenue, that we be allowed to honor Mr. John H. McAfee by placing signage up that said in honor of, because of all the work that he's done at Phillips High School and beyond to help students throughout the city. What we will bear the call for the signage, but again, we want to come up with a neighborhood to seek out that approval. And again, from 1976, well, I'll just say 45 years, I think it's worthy of it. And also what he has given to so many individuals like myself, whose mom and dad had divorced. He had to play the role of daddy, uncle, big brother, many of us. So his people went beyond the classroom. He gave us life skills that I even now give to my people. And that's my presentation to ask for 24th Street from Abraham Wood to 6th Avenue. We not changing the 24th Street, it's just the placing of those signs in honor of John H. McAfee. Thank you very much for your time.
Question. Where would the signage be placed? I mean,
We're looking to place signs on the northbound and southbound. We would like to place a sign at Abraham Woods, 7th Avenue and 6th Avenue. So 3 signs.
like, will they be, where would they go, on the side of the street? Or
Yeah.
the-
Right, so right there between the curb, sidewalk and curb, and right that's actually traffic in the Department of Transportation, right? They would have to actually specifically tell us where those signs would go along the route. But again, they would be between the curb and the sidewalk.
And how tall, you know how big they're gonna be?
They're no taller than the standard stop signs or what have you that are already placed out there. They're not anything, they'll be on those same standard poles that the stop signs come on, but they are a bit more. I might oval shape or oval shape, I guess you could say there. And but that's what's specific in honor of the individual's name. And again, the Department of Transportation says where those signs actually.
Do you have a drawing or anything? Could you send us one?
I can do that, yes.
Okay. And let me just send it out to the neighborhood and let them, see what they think about it.
Yeah. Yes.
I do not know the people you're talking about, but I have, my son was in the band, he went to college and everything he said that I found about band directors, they're very worthy. And for him to have spent that many years raising up that many people, that was different. I agree.
I truly believe that there were kids, even in my class, my fellow students, who would not have had a second chance in life had there not been a Mr. John H. McAfee. And those individuals are all across the country, giving young folks the opportunity to have that best chance they can and steer them away from things that are so negative. And we definitely need that now. But if there's a person who has come through the city schools, he's one of me. But I can put my fingers on that.
Anybody got any questions?
Are you already working?
No, haven't. This is first off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. So we'll work on getting that design to you and then we'll.
Are you gonna have to sign later?
We're looking forward to taking care of that off. But we like for it to be standard and nothing different from any other neighborhood. Well, that's right. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you on.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take a real name. This way.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, how's everybody? Counselor brings greetings. He is probably on a plane traveling to the National League of Cities Summer Leadership Retreat Meeting in Tacoma, Washington. So he'll have a full week and will be returning with lots of information on Saturday. Hopefully, fingers crossed with all the flight delays. I do want to start out since we are talking about streets. There was going to be a representative from the A.G. Gaston family to come to your meeting tonight. But unfortunately, her son was the firefighter that lost his life. Jordan Melton, I will say his name. He was a beloved young man and citizen of the city of Birmingham. And he is also the great nephew of famous A.G. Gaston. And so the family is going to be coming to you all to petition for support of the renaming of Fifth Avenue North to A.G. Gaston Boulevard. Of course, now there is an honor on top of Fifth Avenue North that they are asking for the entire street. I will allow them to talk with you all and present that because that's a part of the paperwork and things that the petitioner has asked for, and they will bring you the formal paperwork, ask for a vote, as well as the petition needed. And from there, our Department of Transportation will vet the project. It will also have to go up for approval from the city council through resolution. So they got a little ways to go. They did last time she started making her round. She was at the Fountain Heights Neighborhood Association. And again, she had planned, but unfortunately, she literally called me the day before Jonathan, an unfortunate violent event that happened. So I wanted to start here. So there is a process and protocol for street renaming, honorary naming of streets, and what Mr. Williams is requesting. And we will work with both entities to vet those as well. And there is a financial responsibility at the time of when those petitions are collected, that the family, or the petitioner has to then turn into the Department of Transportation. And speaking of Department of Transportation, soon our new parking ordinance will be before, hopefully, the Transportation Committee. It will then make it out of committee, question and answer, back and forth, and then it will be before the full council. We're hopeful for that by end of August. We're being told mid-August. And this will address some of the concerns about signage and some of the lights, some of the issues that we hope to rectify with the towing issues that have been happening. But just realizing that these are private lots and they have private management of it, but we're gonna work and do what we can to enforce in the way that we should. Okay, so as far as big events happening in District 5, we have a first annual District 5 Health Fair happening on Friday, July 28th at the Smithfield Court Community Center. It is open to the public. It is for any entity. All District 5, we are working with some of our other elder and public housing residents to actually be bused over to this event. We are excited about it. We have a lot of partners. We have a lot of people coming out. Department of Health will be showing folks what to do in case of a drug overdose and how you can help someone if you see something, if you so choose. Of course, our friends UAB, Live Health Smart Market Mobile will be there. Their wellness clinic, mobile wellness clinic will be there and as the mobile food market. So both entities from UAB's Live Health Smart will be there. So please come visit with your Smithfield neighbors. They are one of our District 5 neighborhoods, and we're trying to create events where people cross and come out of their neighborhood and meet their neighbors. Those are like the big things happening. We're waiting for the parking ordinance. Council is ready for it. And at this time, I'll receive any questions. And I'm glad to see Don Lupo here, and maybe if I can't answer it,
It can, we know where to go within the city realm. Yes, ma'am.
Have they made any progress on the traffic counts?
So, of course, the legislators passed the legislation. I know that August 1st. Don, am I right, the exhibition driving law starts. Now, the cameras, that did pass the House, and I don't know where we are within a contract. But I can find out from the mayor's team, because I know a lot of people are wondering when, and again, it is for exhibition driving, it is not, to give people tickets for speeding, running lights and things like that. It's actually gonna have to be something that they go and view, post the event to see what was happening, to get those, tags and everything, so that they can build a case, right? And so we're also hoping to maybe use that, because I know some neighborhoods, I don't know if Central City at the time voted for it, but they voted for cameras for usage for dumping. And some of our neighborhood associations that really have issues with dumping within their neighborhood, the people, with alleys and things like that. I know that you all have issues with alleys. Okay, so I won't diminish that, but the dumping of the mattresses and things like that, they voted for that too. But I can get an update. Don, do you know anything? I don't know the status of that either.
I think that would be great, like over on, beside the wine loft where that one, they keep, every time somebody moves out, they put all their stuff, their mattresses. It's really disgusting. It really, I know what you're saying, like in rural areas or in the burbs, you get a lot of that. But it's surprising how much downtown, you see sofas set out and like, somebody's gonna come by and pick it up. But I think that would be great.
I will say they might get picked up a little faster in downtown, because usually it's causing some type of car blockage. But the neighborhood is like, it's a different beast. Because usually they're not necessarily blocking alley or pathway, so it's easy to drive around it, with still that's not an excuse. But I will say, hopefully with our new uniform trash can pick up, that will free up some of our public works folks, and they can stay on top of dumping, and we can do more to, go after some of these bad actors. And, there was a big conversation with the municipal court and the committee of the whole, all the council a couple of weeks ago about enforcement. I think that conversation went on almost 2 hours about what do we do to, go forth to prosecute the bad actors who continuously dump and who don't take care of their properties and things like that. So that is also a working process with our municipal.
We really need something like that downtown. As you know, you and I have had this conversation for a couple of years now. But like Don, I tell you, I was out in the alley working Saturday. He's picking up trash. 2 of the restaurants, I stayed out there for hours and moved all their junk they put out there, pieces of wood, stuff. And then Sunday morning, it looks great. I'm leaving at 6:30 in the morning to go take care of my mom. And the restaurant, between the 2 dumpsters there, they dropped 2 of their bags, and all the work I did was filled up with. This
And
is
I
hard.
wonder if we could talk to Detective Pitts about that.
Yeah,
So
it's the
Detective-
alley right behind my garage.
Detective Pitts handles business licensing for the city through the police department. Again, he's a part of our main police department. And are you familiar with Detective Pitts?
I'm sure.
And maybe we can talk to him about that. I feel like he could at least get us where we need to go. If it's code enforcement, but it's a serious offense as far as it relates to their business license potentially. And I'll do some research on that. So I'll do some
What
research
I'd like
on.
to see is on all these dumpsters, like there's 6 in our alley now, 5 or 6. It's unbelievable.
And that is also privately owned. And
I'd like for them to be required when they get their business license to put their name and a contact person on it, because there's, you know what we went through behind Watts Towers, trying to find out who all those belong to, and Don found out 2 of them had been abandoned forever. But that should be a requirement, so that, you don't go to this business and make them mad, but then you just call and say, hey, you gotta come out here and do something.
Well, I know that again, there's extensive conversation on a safety plan with Detective Pitts, but there are a lot of other things that go into that, getting that business license. And so I can do some investigating about the environmental plan that they may have.
Those are things that I wanted to highlight that are in the booklet. Of course, we now are in good conversation with our downtown library rep, who is keeping us informed of what's going on with the library, and want to also let you know, if you know folks with good ideas, small nonprofits up and coming, the Bold Grant is also open for applicants. That information is in here as well. And be on the lookout for our date for our annual Safe Summer Series concert. We do plan on going back to City Walk. It was a lovely event with food for purchase with food trucks, and we also had a resource fair where we had over 20 of our nonprofits. We really had to say, no, we don't have space for you anymore. And there was a special performance by our one high school in our district, which is Parker High School. So those are some events happening. Of course, the programming calendar is in here also for City Walk as well, and that can also be found on their website and on their social media. And I have cards per usual, and on the front is our office phone number, email. Please feel free to reach out to us. Recently, we met with some of our loft district folks. That was planned by a loft dweller, Armor and Company building, which I went into again Saturday night for another event, a lovely building. But we really had a good conversation with them about, you know, who to call and what, and you know, it was really supposed to be a meet and greet, but it turned into about counselor talking for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, just casual conversation. So we love that type of stuff. If you want to host us within your loft or within your common area, outdoor rooftop, let us know, because it is hard for us to get into lofts and apartments, unlike, you know, our regular single home dwellings. We just go knock on doors. The other week we rode around with Mayor Whitman, we just knocked on doors. Not something that we can really do, get access to the buildings. So if you want to host us at your building and your common area, or open up your door, we are there. We'll bring snacks, we'll bring information, and we're there to answer questions. I will say they kind of spoiled us at the last event we did. They said just come, and it was delicious food. But don't feel obligated. We're just wanting to come and have a conversation and connect and build upon the information that Rev is working on. We also had a good conversation with the Birmingham Business Alliance recently. We really want to work on outreach with our businesses. About 70% of business licenses come through District 5. So we want to be a whole lot more intentional. We're getting people randomly now to stop by about incentives and things like that, since what happened, the development that they're doing at the parking deck, which eventually will be the home to your mamas. And we want to be helpful for that too, because council does serve on the Economic Development Committee. And it's good to let us know as these projects are developing, right? We want to know so we can get you to the right resources within the city, right? Ultimately, the mayor builds those projects and he does come to the council eventually for approval. So we want to know in advance about those projects as well. Thank you. There's nothing else here. Here's my contact information. Thank you.
Nice, appreciate it. Anybody got any questions?
Oh, I'll be here.
Okay, well, I guess it's all of our speakers that I wanted to go over, and I sound like Minnie Mouse because I've been doing those in the hangover because of the humidity and stuff, so anyway, sorry. Wanted to ask, okay, I got a phone call about all of the new village that's come up under the interstate, down on Third, where you go up where the old farmer's market used to be behind the post office in that area. Don told me we call Aldot at Arkadelphia and report it to them.
Between 5th and 6th.
It's
Or
right.
3rd.
It's
Right off of Caroline. So I didn't think they even speak of it. So that is the same gentleman, Mr. Marion. I know you know him, Don. And so we actually today, when you checked in with Jones Valley Teaching Farm, because unfortunately sometimes he's gone to the farm and, you know, done things that kind of, you know, travel the children. I won't say anything necessarily illegal, but there has been an occasion where they have had a problem with police. So as Mr. Miriam, We will also, we're gonna work with the Jarvis too. We're gonna give him an email because it seems like the house is getting bigger. It starts with a couch or a mattress and now he's, you know, he does his rooms.
It looks like a community,
I know.
and it's really terrible because it's such a, you drive through there, and I mean, it's like,
And he'll, you know, we'll get him reporting and hopefully, because we don't want anything to happen because he. With the kids at John Valley, because he's gone over his.
okay, great.
Thank you.
Very good, that's great. And then I think you can, I don't know who to call, but we're on in Park Place. It's the corner of 6th, and I've got the address because they're taking so many pictures where the benches are. 6th Place and 24. Anyway, back in October or September, I noticed the broken benches there. I mean, they're propped up on cement blocks. I mean, these are elderly that someone sit out there to wait on the bus. And then the lot that joins it, they did the city or somebody came out and moved the trash and cement block up with all the big pieces of rock and stuff that's piled up. I walked by there the other day. I've called Atlanta. I bet I've made 100 phone calls and nobody from the housing authority will call me back. Their phone, either that, they don't have voicemail or it's full.
Give me the street, what you're talking about, is right in front of Park Place?
Yeah, it's where they're,
24th Street and 6th Place.
the side of it is a park. And it faces, if I'm not mistaken, where their offices are. It's to the side of it.
Okay, where they still.
And when you go and you see these broken benches, I mean, we talk about all these, how we're, you know, getting rid of these buildings and stuff. I just think it's sad that I can't seem to find anybody that's willing to even just haul them away. They're that bad. And it's a liability too for people sitting there, but I think seniors, you know, we're talking about elderly, you say at least deserve a bench that's not gonna fall over with them. So I appreciate it if you can help me out with that, because I have to call every number that I've been given and got a list of names. 3 miles, 1, 2. Wanted to let you know that I did talk to somebody about our signs to go up to announce our meetings, and we're off tonight, so we got to get up after everybody, because this is probably one of the lowest numbers we've had since February. So we need to get everybody on fire again and get them out here. Robocalls, I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me how to set, I don't even, like I put in requests for that, which y'all think I'm not following up, but I have, and nothing has been done as far as the sign or the robocalls about setting those things up. Also, we now have a opening for VP, if you know anybody that would consider being vice president in Central City. So we could possibly have an election next time, or you can email me and I can put the word out there, but you know, and then we also have a few, Hannah, in case y'all don't know, has moved and left us. Shame on her. She's down by Publix now, but she is acting as a volunteer secretary and said she would continue. So just want to be clear on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. She's great. And I guess that's oh, and Bob Patterson has put together the information on all the trees, the trees that need to be replaced in different areas. I thought he was gonna be here, but maybe he'll send it to me and we can talk about it next time. So, any questions? Hey, I was gonna ask, I wanted to ask you this real quick. I told them when I was in physical therapy, the therapist said, look out the window around St. Vincent's, and they were spray painting that green stuff on the shrubs that look dead. Now it's like a paint that is safe for trees. And they said the day before they were walking all around the parking lot spraying their trees to make them look green. I've seen this when people were selling a house to do it to the grass to make you think you're getting a straight line. But yeah, we're not gonna be doing that, are we?
No.
I just thought that was amazing.
UAB does it to the
I said,
green.
I want her job. So, okay, all right, yeah, it was
Is that
interesting.
environmentally friendly?
Huh?
Is it environmental?
Yeah, it's something new they developed. One of the therapists said he went out and talked there because he wanted to know about it. Probably asked her. Okay.
You don't have to watch the truck. You can just.
Okay, we got it. Just anybody want to say with audio? Okay.
Right.
Thank y'all for coming and, thank you. Appreciate it.